Eastside Dave McDonald.
Go out to New York City, find a homeless guy, murder him, Batman snuff rises.
Chris Pepper Stanley.
Jedi
So
was
much
the best
better.
one. I'm sorry I don't like the second one the best like everyone else.
Sean O. Barry.
This is what you get in my house. We're spilling paint in the garage. Do I stutter?
Roy Schaefer Harder.
I was ready to don a Yankee outfit and go bash people's brains and run through the streets.
They are the movie experts. They are the movie masters. They are the Watchers.
Yes, sir. Good evening, good night, good afternoon. Hello, everyone. We are the Watchers. My name is Eastside Dave McDonald.
Yeah, Dave.
They call me Davey Mac. And with me, as always, Chris Pepper Stanley.
What's up?
Sean O'Barry. Roy Schaefer Harder.
Hey.
And sitting in with us is Flutzy, of course.
Of course, Flutzy.
Today is a very special episode because I am a gigantic fan of this entire podcasting network. I'm a huge fan of the shows. And I think on the line with us is the man who has spearheaded this extraordinary podcasting network. His name is Jimmy Mack. Is he in the house?
Jimmy.
What's up, broskies?
Yes!
Jimmy Mac.
Jimmy Mack!
Jimmy Mac. Jimmy Mac. Jimmy Mac.
All right,
Yeah.
so if you don't know Jimmy, because we've communicated a little bit on the old Twitter there, but I work in radio. I know Jimmy Mack does. First of all, Pepper, this is weird. I work on 95.9 The Rat. Jimmy Mack, you work on 95.9 as well.
95.9 The River. In,
95. Bam.
just outside Chicago in Aurora, Illinois, home of Wayne's World.
Yes,
hell
sir.
yeah.
95.9 The River. I'll tell you one thing.
Excellent.
Next time in Chicago, that's the only thing that's going to be playing in my car. That's it. That's it. I'm going to tune my alarm clock to 95.9 The River.
I'm just going to
That's
their
it.
website and listen to it right now.
But we also do a highly big sports show, the Davey Mack Sports Program, and then we do our monthly movie show, The Watchers. And on every show, in fact, I talk about Star Wars. I'm obsessed with it. I recently got a Star Wars tattoo, finally, after so many years. And what happened was, even though we've been doing this online sports show for what, 5 years, Pepper?
Just under 5 years.
Believe it or not, I was not great with listening to podcasts. And then someone told me, you know what you can do with these podcasts
Yeah.
is simply put in a key phrase
like a topic.
that you're interested in.
Yes, and someone's doing a podcast
and you'll
about it.
find out the show that will align with your likes and your passions. I put in Star Wars, of course, because that's one of my primary, if not my primary passion in life. And I won't say the name of the shows, but I found a couple shows that weren't, I wasn't crazy about.
Weren't up to snuff.
Finally, someone I brought that up on the Davey Mack Sports Program and the Watchers, and people tweet at me, you got to check out RebelForce Radio.
Nice.
And I tuned in to RebelForce Radio. This is about 6 to 7 months ago. I have not tuned out since.
Yeah.
Simple as that. And I'm not jesting. I'm not joking. It's so superb. Of course, the two shows that I love the most, the flagship show that you do with Jason Swank, which is RebelForce Radio.
Yeah.
And then the show that you do with David W. Collins, Star Wars Oxygen, the music of John Williams. Utterly amazing, Jimmy.
Well, thank you. Thank you, sir.
I don't even know how long does it take you to even put together one of those John Williams, one of those Star Wars Oxygen episodes? Because the shows are amazing.
Well, thanks a lot, man. And I'll definitely pass that along to David Collins. David, of course, is a former Lucasfilm employee. LucasArts, he worked on a lot of kick-ass Star Wars games and beyond. He's now with Sony Interactions, so he's doing the same for PlayStation now, and so he's got major Star Wars cred.
Yeah.
And David is a good friend of mine, and we both appreciate the music of John Williams, so we throw down about it at least once a month, and
It's
David comes extremely prepared for those conversations. He does some mad research, and he's also a brilliant musician. So it's so cool. I'll be talking to David about a particular moment in the film, and instead of searching through the CD or whatever, looking for the track, David will just start playing it on the keyboards, and it's the coolest thing. So I got to give all the credit in the world for that show to David, because he is tight.
All right, now Jimmy, we actually have our own Roy Schaefer, and Roy, you were playing over Jimmy while he was talking.
Oh, I'm sorry.
So you apologize to Mr. Mack right
Sorry,
now.
Mr. Mack.
Roy Schaefer. Roy Schaefer is actually our in-house keyboardist. He's won an Emmy. He's a producer. Him and Shawno for they are directors of Skinny Man Studios here in Times Square,
Nice.
and they do.
So you guys totally know how cool it is to have that instant reaction with music.
Yeah.
I worked on a show in Chicago radio years ago with a guy named Brian McCann, who went on to be one of Conan O'Brien's top writers until Conan moved out to L.A.
And he's also the catcher for the Yankees. I'm not sure if you're familiar with.
Right. No relation.
Okay. All right. I just want to make sure it's not the same Brian McCann. I'm thinking he only hit 250 last year, Jimmy. I was not pleased with his performance. All right. So anyway, go
We
ahead.
had a keyboard player in the studio with us, a guy named Scott May, who's in all kind of Chicago bands, but most notably a band called the Ides of March, which did the song Vehicle back in the 70s.
Nice.
And, so they're still around. And,
Nice.
And so that's where, that kind of idea came from. Wow, wouldn't it be great to have keyboards in the studio all the time? And so then we started the show with David, and he brought the keyboards to the studio.
That guy.
What year was that? That was.
Go ahead, Roy.
Sunday Funnies was in the mid-'90s.
Oh wow, a long time ago.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was a huge band. What'd you do in the mid '90s, Roy?
I was.
Exactly.
Ecstasy.
Exactly.
My nipples pierced.
Yeah. Nipples pierced. I apologize again, Jimmy. I feel like I'll probably be apologizing for Roy Schaefer quite often today. Just if he gets too disturbing, feel free to just no. But anyway, this is the similarities don't end there, Pepper. And by the way, I liked how Jimmy said that David W. Collins does mad research. I've never once said that my man Pepper Stanley's does mad research before any of our various shows.
Oh, my brain, buddy.
Shots fired.
Oh, my brain. I don't need the mad research.
Not only is he a Mac, and I'm a Mac. Not only does he work at 95.9, I work at 95.9. How weird is this? I took a picture because one of their sponsors is Lil Debbie, cupcakes.
Oh, delicious.
And Lil Debbie's. And I took it in my son's bedroom in front of his Luke Skywalker fat head. And guess what? Jimmy Mack was saying, your son has the same Luke Skywalker fat head.
Which Luke?
Unbelievable.
Which Luke is it? Is it Luke in like Tatooine Luke or like
It's
badass
Luke.
Shorty
Jedi
Robe Luke, as they should say on the show Modern Family. Shorty Robe Luke.
Yes,
Oh my.
right. It's the episode 4 Tatooine Luke. He's dressed in his little Tatooine clothes, but he is holding a lightsaber. And then interesting, Jimmy, is that really he doesn't actually wield a lightsaber. I suppose when he's training,
the Millennium Falcon.
on the Falcon, but that lightsaber in the movies seemed like it was more white than blue, as if it was like a training lightsaber. Am I dissecting it too closely there?
No, I don't think you are. But that's something Lucasfilm has tried to correct over the years.
Okay.
And when the Blu-ray came out, the DVD, when that came out, it was like a greenish-looking saber.
Right.
And they keep tooling around with it. It's supposed to be blue.
Oh, I'm in heaven right now. I mean, listen, I just love this so much. I mean, I can't speak for the 4 numbskulls sitting next to me. Well, no, they like Star Wars, but they're not as
love Star
obsessed.
Wars,
They're
yeah.
not as obsessed as the Dave Man is. Now, the other thing, I wanted to bring this up.
Hey,
Nothing but Star Wars.
All right, that's enough at you. That's enough at you.
look,
Now,
Davey Mac, I've seen all the movies. I've read the books. Like you have.
Jimmy, guess what Pepper's favorite Star Wars
I
film
wanted to
is?
bring this up.
And is this a wrong opinion to have? Because I have a very strong opinion about this. Pepper, why don't you tell Jimmy Mack your favorite Star Wars film?
No, Jimmy Mac, my favorite of all the Star Wars films is Jedi. What, episode
Jedi.
6? Well, that's
Episode 6, you're right, of course.
And now I get all the flack in the world, especially from Dave, saying that that's the worst one.
No, I didn't say that. First of all, I love all the Star Wars films, but some are better than others. And you cannot, to me, Jimmy, come on. Is he crazy? Because as a Star Wars guy, you A, have to respect A New Hope, or B, Pepper.
Hold on.
Take it to Empire where it took it up a notch.
Empire didn't take anything up a notch.
Oh, you're...
If Jedi isn't the best one, look, Luke comes back. He's a Jedi Knight now. He's badass in all that black gear. He destroys the Death Star for the final time.
He had nothing to do with the Death Star. He fought against Darth Vader and the Emperor.
and he kills the Emperor.
Know your
and
own
he
movie.
kills Vader.
But he didn't blow up the Death Star. Lando did. And so did Wedge Antilles. understand what you're talking about when you're talking to Mr. Jimmy Mack here.
Of all of them.
Sorry, Jimmy.
I'm sorry there were
Yeah, let's
goddamn
get it straight
Ewoks
here.
in it.
All right, Jimmy, what is your favorite? If you had to choose, or at least tell Pepper he's wrong.
Well, I can't say he's wrong because I think it's awesome that he has a favorite Star Wars film,
at you, Pepper,
and I
50
don't give a
points.
damn which one it is, just as long as he has a favorite Star Wars film.
Thank
Matter
you,
of fact,
Jimmy Mack.
my co-host Jason Swank, a guy who has devoted a major portion of the last 10 years of his life to spreading the word about Star Wars. His favorite film is Return of the Jedi.
Really?
Me and Swank are the same
Jason Swank likes Jedi the most. Listen, here's my thing. Jedi is a solid A. Davy Mack's not going to come down on Jedi, but New Hope and Empire are A++. I'm
Well,
sorry,
both
gentlemen.
those two, definitely A New Hope is my favorite. The original
Thank
Star
you.
Wars. When I was a kid, I'm a kid of the 70s.
Thank
So
you.
growing up, we called them Star Wars, Empire, and Jedi.
That's right.
And definitely the first Star Wars was my introduction into it, and it was a big part of my childhood. You know, I mean, sports, comic books, and Star Wars.
There you
That's what
go.
I think of when I think of the 70s.
We are exactly the
And Farrah
same.
Fawcett, of course.
We are exactly sports,
Really
Star
scary.
Wars,
Scary,
and
actually.
comic books. Although I like the daintiest comic book of all, I was into Archie's, and I still get ridiculed by my brothers.
Well, look at you.
I have 3 older brothers.
The question is, Betty or Veronica?
Always.
Betty and Veronica.
Okay, Roy, leave
Yeah,
him.
Roy.
He was asking me, Roy.
Sorry, guys.
We don't need your sick opinion when Jimmy.
Polyamorous ways.
No, I would always go with Veronica. I like the brunette type
You
of.
like the rich bitch.
Yeah, Jimmy Mack.
No, Jimmy. I'm sure because you're a phenomenal. Again, we're with Jimmy Mack of Rebel Force Radio. Check out his podcasting network, Rebel Force Radio, or the flagship show, Rebel Force Radio. Or again, and I also love Star Wars Oxygen. But there are a ton of shows there. There's a show with a couple of Englishmen, I believe. I've tuned into that, right?
When they're all on
we have a show
shotglassdigital.com.
called Radio 1138, and it's from our two buddies out in London.
That's
They give you
amazing.
the lowdown on what's going on with Star Wars over in England.
I guess that Star Wars must be a very popular film franchise in England because there are so many like English actors in it. Grand Moff Tarkin.
all the
and,
Imperial.
yeah, right.
like, bad
Everyone who was a
guys.
bad guy is English.
Yeah.
Right.
Now, all
I
right.
like that. And, of course, they just wrapped up shooting The Force Awakens in London.
Yeah. Yes.
At
Yeah.
Pinewood Studios. So, yeah, there's a big connection, and definitely outside of the United States, the biggest fan base for Star Wars is in the UK.
Well, I remember that old making of Return of the Jedi documentary that came out in the early '80s, and that was in Pinewood, wasn't it? Because you had all the English puppeteers who were working Jabba the Hutt and whatnot, and even one of the little people who was in Willow worked Jabba's tail. Am I right about that?
You know what? Was he in Willow? I know the guy.
He's in Time
I've
Bandits.
interviewed him before. His name
Time-
is Mike Edmonds, and we always joke that he was Jabba's hemorrhoid.
That's nice. No, yeah, he was actually like an actor, and I think he was in Time. Yeah, Sean, you might be right. He was.
Time
He
Bandits.
might have been in Time Bandits.
Yeah, well, it's a film with like 7 little people, like the most famous ones ever.
Yeah.
Was he Leprechaun?
Yeah, no,
Right, yeah, the two
Time
guys who
Bandits.
were Time Bandits was Kenny Baker, who played R2-D2,
Oh, that's it. Okay,
and
see,
Jack Purvis, who played a
We're not-
lot of various tiny characters in
Ewoks.
Star Wars.
Jawas.
Like he played the main Jawa, he played the main
Roy's right.
Argonaut. He's,
All right,
you know.
50 points for Roy. Roy, give yourself 50 points. Yes, Jimmy, we have a very arbitrary point system where I award points and I take them away as I see fit. Very a la Emperor Palpatine, and I cause people's destinies to either succeed or fail. Right now, since Roy's playing a nice little Star Wars riff, I'm going to give you 15 points. Pepper, minus 35 points because you embarrassed me in front of Jimmy. You told him Jedi was your favorite,
Jedi
and
is
now
my
it's
favorite.
embarrassing.
All
All
right,
right,
Swank loved Jedi.
now, Jimmy. All right, so I'm sure you've heard every Star Wars theory out there, and so this might not be new, but I don't know if this exists. I've brought this up on The Watchers before. Now, the end of Episode 3, Revenge of the Sith, okay, they're beginning to build the Death Star. And then as it's implied in Episode 4, it's kind of finally been completed. So in other words, it seems like it took 20 years to begin that first Death Star. Then, okay, they blow it up. And in Return of the Jedi, there's a new Death Star. And yet we're led to believe that second Death Star only took, what, a year and a
was like
half?
3/4
between A New Hope and Jedi? So
Well, look at it this way. here's my theory on that.
Because I have a theory too, but I want to hear yours first.
They started the construction of both at the same time.
Bam! That was my theory. Jimmy.
The reason the other one wasn't completed is because it was actually larger than the Death Star we saw in the original Star Wars. So it was taking longer to construct.
See, look at this. And that's why they needed that shield on Endor, because it was bigger. That was my exact theory. And in an Oliver Stone kind of way, in JFK, when Oliver Stone, basically he comes up with a theory of once there's a second shooter, there's a conspiracy, there's no reason to believe that multiple peoples are involved. My theory goes even further, Jimmy, in that perhaps then once we feel like there's a second parallel Death Star being built, why shouldn't there be 10 Death Stars, 20 Death Stars, 50 Death Stars throughout the galaxy? How do we not know that there are at least a dozen Death Stars being built? How about that, Jimmy Mack?
I like it. That's an interesting theory I've never heard before.
Oh! Roy, give me a stinger. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, Roy.
I give you 50 points for that.
Oh, come on.
Good. That's 50 for me, Pepper, and mine is 50. That's always implied. Whenever Jimmy gives me points, he takes 50 away from your pile.
That hurts.
So there you have it. Yeah, well, that was my theory. So, I mean, listen, I have no idea, and I do listen religiously to Rebel Force Radio, Jimmy Mack and Jason Swank's show. And you guys have given some inkling of what The Force Awakens is about, but I've kind of tried to steer clear a little bit about that. You don't think my multiple Death Star theory will show up in Force Awakens, do you? And they've
I wouldn't rule it out.
You wouldn't rule it out, really? So they have yet another Death Star to blow up.
Like I said, anything could happen.
I'm loving it. I'm enjoying it. Now, how about this for Force Awakens? Luke Skywalker. He's probably been hiding out in Tatooine. I can
Why
see
Tatooine, though? I mean, there's other planets.
he loves
like Obi-Wan.
Tatooine. It's like a beach. It's like hanging out in
No, it's
Hawaii.
not. It's just
There's
desert.
a
There's no
Sarlacc
water.
pit here or there. You take a bath in the Sarlacc pit if you have the
just
guts, if you will.
Jawas and gangsters.
Isn't that where his aunt and uncle were barbecued to death?
We just leave Uncle Owen and Aunt Beru out of this.
Is that where
They've
his-
suffered enough?
Where his father killed a bunch of Jawas?
We don't need to talk about what
Sand
Anakin
Raiders, excuse
did.
me.
Okay.
Tusken Sand
Yeah, now
Raiders.
that I think about it, Jimmy, Tatooine's a very dark place. It's very evil, isn't it? Well, anyway, my point is this. Luke has probably become an Obi-Wan character, but not for the reasons that Obi-Wan became a hermit. He was hiding out from the Empire and looking out for Luke Skywalker. I believe he probably has been there to avoid becoming the next Darth Vader. In other words, resisting temptation to be this Jedi master of the universe. And so perhaps by The Force Awakens, we might see Luke. Everyone assumes that Luke is going to come back in the Obi-Wan Kenobi role and he's going to tutor basically these young Jedi. But maybe he also gets lured into perhaps becoming a Darth Vader type character. I don't know.
That could be. You know what? I would love to see the character of Luke Skywalker to be a little nuts when we meet him in The Force Awakens.
I love that.
Because I've always loved Mark Hamill's performance as the Joker in the Batman animated series.
It's great.
Yes.
So I would love to kind of transfer the Joker into Luke Skywalker just a little bit until they can, snap him out of it or whatever.
That would be awesome. I get you, kind of like in Indiana Jones Temple of Doom where they force him to drink the blood and then yeah, right. You have the chanters in the background and then finally Short Round snapped him out of it by, Mr. Indy, and he took the torch to Indy's stomach there.
No time for love, Dr. Jones.
Do you on Rebel Force Radio? No. You never delve into the Indiana Jones universe, though. It's strictly, but you do have Shot Glass Digital, which is like a broader spectrum where you can talk about other things. I know you do a James Bond show as well.
Yeah, we do James Bond, the Bondcast.
The Bondcast.
That can be found on iTunes or, as you say, shotglassdigital.com. Thanks for the plug.
There you go.
But the Indiana Jones thing, a lot of people assume sometimes that you put Indiana Jones and Star Wars, the two franchises, under one umbrella.
Right.
And while they are like close cousins and everything, we keep it strictly
Strictly Star
to the wars.
No, I got you, and I like that. It's not confusing. You know exactly what you're getting. And again, there's a great variety of shows that one can go and check out and thoroughly enjoy. I check them out all. What I do, and this is really insane, is I click on or I put on the feed tab, right? And I put myself in bed. I gotta get up early for 95.9 The Rat, so I'm in bed by 9 or 10 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, and because I get up at 4 in the morning for my morning show on 95.9 The Rat. And I'll play like Star Wars Oxygen, but I'll have it on the feed. And so I'll fall asleep, but then I'll wake up at 4 o'clock in the morning, and just one of the random shows, they'll still be talking about Star Wars. In other words, Star Wars will be happening in my sleep for the entire 6 hours that I'm sleeping each and every night. How about that?
That's a victory.
I think
That is a victory, sir.
And I think because of that, maybe through... What is that? Omnopia or
Onomatopoeia.
Onomatopoeia. Talk about a Star Wars character. I think that's made me even more addicted. Onomatopoeia, is that what it's called?
It's like boom crash. Like things that are words for sounds that are
Exactly.
made.
My point is, because I go to sleep with Jimmy Mac's Rebel Force Radio feed on, I think I've even amped up my Star Wars. I've been addicted to Star Wars. I was born in 1977. So I was born in a Star Wars year, and this is why this is maybe a kind of a weird OCD thing that I got going on. But the first film that I saw in a theater was also Jedi in 1983 when I was 6 years old. It's the first movie I saw, Jimmy Mac.
Did you get those?
Perfect. Well, I mean, that's much like Jason Swake. You guys are the exact same age.
We are.
That's why he likes Jedi so much, is because that was the first theatrical Star Wars experience he had. And that's why a lot of younger kids love the prequel so much.
Yeah, but
even though it's been derided,
Right.
it's their Star Wars.
No, you're
So-
absolutely right about that. My son loves Revenge of the Sith. Pepper? What were you going to say?
First movie I ever saw in theaters, Demon Knight with Billy Zane.
Okay, well, thank you for that. Jimmy, can we minus 50 points for that comment? Because we're having an excellent Star Wars discussion, and then Demon Knight had to pop up randomly.
I think Caveman with Ringo Starr was my first.
Will
movie,
you please
so-
stay on track?
I saw it
Stay on
driving.
target, so to speak, to bring a Star Wars reference
on
in here.
target.
Stay on target now. By the way, Jimmy, you know who I love? Who never gets a shout out? Porkins. From
Porkins.
Oh yeah, Porkins is
from
great.
Star Wars.
Poor Porkins.
Poor
You wanted to keep your fingers away from his mouth in the meth hall.
He's a big dude. I love him.
He's like, hey, we got a fat ex-pilot. Let's go with Porkins.
I know. George Lucas called him Porkins. I just thought that's the funniest title for a chubby character.
The 70s. You know?
It's just great. It's like talking about being literal. Where we have a chubby X-Wing guy. What's his name going to be? Porkins. I love it. I have no idea why that cracks me up all the time. I've done a zillion Porkins photoshops. I'm the number one Porkins fan in the world. I don't know why. Okay, let's talk about the prequel then, since you brought it up. My son, without question, I've shown him all 6. He loves all 6. He's into them. I've got him thoroughly into the Star Wars. But yeah, Revenge of the Sith is his favorite Star Wars film. So and the cool thing about having a kid though is that it actually did make me check out the prequel in a different light. And I don't know, I've become more and more of a prequel fan since I've had children. Maybe that's the only reason why I had kids in the first place.
Well, that's good. I mean, you can see it all in a different light when you're watching it with your kids. You almost see it through their eyes, and you try to sort of gauge their reactions to things. And by doing so, that kind of lets you have a second chance at that initial thrill rush, because you're reliving it all again through their eyes. So that's just the best thing about having kids.
Yeah, I agree with you. And let me ask you this question. I feel like, and again, I don't know if it's because I had kids or not, but I feel like the prequel is aging well. Like, in other words, we probably, as Star Wars fans, overhyped ourselves when the movies came out, and because it was such a fever pitch. Oh my God, Star Wars is back! I can't believe this is incredible. Because I go back, and there are absolute moments of Phantom Menace. Even I know people don't like Jar Jar that much, but there are moments with the Qui-Gon lightsaber, the Darth Maul. I really like Attack of the Clones, and maybe due to my son, I love Revenge of the Sith. Do you feel like the prequel, in a weird way, is actually aging well?
I do. Yeah,
Yeah.
I felt that way for a while.
Yeah.
Because now the pressure's off. So I think people are starting to see it and accept it for what it is. And let's face it, I mean, Lucas recreated his universe with those prequels. And for better or for worse, it was different. And I think it may have just taken fans a while to get used to those changes. And
Right.
once they were able to, they're able to sink their teeth into it more, and it has aged. It's aged well.
There was just more, like everything. There was just more. Having said that, I remember getting my hands on this weird Star Wars like Episode 3 synopsis treatment when I was 14 years old. And in this thing, and I forget how I got it, but one of my friends had like a friend in Hollywood or this or that, and in it they taught, the last scene was described as Obi-Wan Kenobi and Anakin fight on this lava planet, and Obi-Wan cuts him down, and that's how he becomes. But the movie, to me, visually played out even better than my imagination when I read the treatment. That's why I think that the prequel, especially Revenge of the Sith, is a huge success.
Well, yeah, I mean, it laid down the foundation for everything that would happen in the original trilogy, and by doing so, I think that enhances the original trilogy.
Yeah,
so
I do
anything
too.
that makes those classic Star Wars films better is obviously a good thing.
Now, what do you feel about J.J. Abrams? I mean, again, this is my issue, and my issue alone. I have to not overhype myself. But the last time I checked, the Star Wars Force Awakens trailer had over 130 million views on YouTube. I believe I'm responsible for 128 million of those views. I just keep rewatching it over and over again. I'm very confident in this new film, but I gotta be cautious not to overhype myself. What do you feel about J.J. Abrams?
Well, he's obviously had a really successful career, and he's obviously so well respected. And I think, though, you can't judge what's going to happen in this next film by looking at JJ's previous catalog, because I think JJ is really taking his own personal preferences when it comes to filmmaking and throwing it out the window, and he's looking at those original Star Wars films, and he's saying to himself, you know what, I want this to be an obvious extension of those films and what made those films great. He's a huge student of Star Wars, and he understands.
Yes.
He understands the tone and the pacing and the rhythm, the things that make Star Wars important.
He
and
gets
I don't
it.
think he's going to ignore that.
He's
I
not
think
like
it's definitely
Pepper.
gonna
He
be
gets
more
it.
original trilogy focused as far as those things, tone and rhythm, and action too. I'm expecting a lot of action.
I'm expecting it. Pepper, what Jimmy Mack and Davey Mack are trying to say is, unlike you, J.J. Abrams has his head screwed on straight.
Oh, my head's
Unlike
not screwed
you,
on straight at
I
all.
won't even tell Jimmy Mack what happens in Astoria, Queens on Friday and Saturday nights.
Weirdness, Jimmy Mack. I'll just put it like that.
Jimmy,
I know.
this guy likes to bet the ponies, okay? And I don't know what he does with his winnings, because sometimes he hits, but listen, I see this guy every Wednesday night. I know he sniffles a lot.
Are there
I can
any
only say that.
are there any theories, Jimmy Mack, on who this new Dark Jedi is going to be?
Oh, that's a good question.
That is a good question. All right, so you're talking about the dude we saw in the trailer
Yeah,
with
with
that
the,
crazy saber.
With the crossbar, yeah.
Yeah. Most people are thinking that that's Adam Driver's character,
Llewyn
who is
Davis.
going to be known as Kylo Ren.
Isn't that weird that they have two of the band members from the Llewyn Davis movie? I don't know if you saw it, but the Mr. Kennedy song,
That's awesome.
where
Please,
Llewyn
Mr.
Davis
Kennedy.
is playing with with the guy. That's Adam Driver, the guy who does the
Also
Mr.
from Girls.
Kennedy. So yeah,
Girls, yeah.
I don't know. Did you see Llewyn Davis by perchance, Jimmy?
No, I didn't. I
Okay.
didn't. But do you think this is a coincidence?
I don't know. It's just weird because they used the Llewyn Davis guy is going to be he's the new X-wing
Isaac.
pilot.
Well,
Oscar
both
Isaac.
Both those guys are blowing up their career-wise. They're gigantic.
That guy's the X-wing pilot, and then yes, he looks the body frame looks like the driver guy because he's very tall and lanky.
There's the Dark
Yeah.
Jedi that the theory is that is he from the books or is he from canon or is canon thrown out the window and is it just the movies now that are canon in the Star Wars universe?
All right, that's a good question. Yeah, the canon has been thrown out the window as far as the expanded universe and everything. The only thing that is being considered canon at this point are the 6 films and the Clone Wars television series.
Oh, what about Star Wars Rebels on Disney, which I'm hugely into? It just wrapped up this past Monday.
Yeah, guys, you know what? I'm sorry. I totally spaced that one off. But yeah, obviously that is considered part of the new canon as well.
This, because I really enjoyed that Inquisitor guy, but, well, I don't want to ruin it for anyone, but I'm not sure if he's going to be making the films. What do you feel about like Star Wars Rebels, the TV show? I mean, I know it's designed for kids. I thoroughly enjoyed that thing.
Well, obviously, it's taking place on the Star Wars timeline 5 years prior to the events in A New Hope, the original Star Wars. So that just immediately makes your mind start racing at the possibilities of situations and characters they could introduce into the show. And the number one choice for a character to be featured in this show that we haven't seen yet is Porkins.
God damn it! Porkins! I love it! I love the Jimmy Mac! I love the RebelForce radio! I love the Star Wars Oxygen, the music of John Williams. I love it all. I know we went long. I told you 15 minutes. We gave you actually the entire half hour of the Watchers.
Check out everything at shotglassdigital.com.
Yes.
Shotglassdigital.com.
And the podcasting network, of course, is RebelForce Radio.
RebelForce Radio on Twitter.
And that's also the name of the flagship show. And Jimmy Mac Radio on Twitter as well and everything. Well, actually, really quickly, Roy, keep playing, but really quickly, I do got to ask you, spin-offs. We're hearing Boba Fett, but I also heard a young Grand Moff Tarkin. Is there any truth to that?
Oh, wow.
Wow, now that's a new one to me.
Okay.
I'll have to look into that one a little bit.
All right.
But we're thinking the first spin-off is going to be a Boba Fett-centric story that may or may not include the Rebels acquiring the plans for the Death Star.
Oh,
so
I love
it would be
it.
sort of a prequel for that film, yeah.
Very cool, like a Magnificent Seven type of thing, almost in space.
Yeah.
All right. Well, listen.
Yeah, but they're keeping that very quiet, so we don't know.
Okay, we don't.
By the way, we'll probably find out a lot more at Star Wars Celebration Anaheim, which is happening next month in Anaheim, California. I will be there hosting one of the main 3 stages. My stage is the behind-the-scenes stage, and I'll be up there with Jason Swank talking to all sort of cool Star Wars celebrities and behind-the-scenes players.
Look at this. Anything else? Anything else you want to mention? Come on.
Well, of course, yeah, Shot Glass Digital is the place. Like us on Facebook. Follow us on Twitter.
I do. I do everything. Everything.
You know, yeah, and just, keep checking us out. We're releasing new sort of shows all the time. We're always adding new shows to our network, and we're just having a lot of fun in the process.
I'll tell you, I don't know, if there's a weird Star Wars convention or something in New York City, now you've met us, and hopefully Pepper and Roy didn't frighten you too much. I know
had great questions.
Pepper's got, I know, but you then you also
Swank, we get very well together.
Yes, but then you embarrassed us with your Jedi talk. But if you're ever in Times Square, you have an open invitation to the Davey Mac Sports Program or the Watchers or whatever the heck you want to do, and that's an open door policy. Jimmy Mac from RebelForce Radio.
Thanks, Jimmy Mac.
Go check it out. It's fantastic stuff. Thanks,
the
Jim.
show is up for a podcast award, too.
Oh, it is? All right, well, check that out as well. So look at this. Oh, yes,
PodcastAwards.com. You can vote for us every day. We're in the best produced category.
Make sure, as someone who listens, I can attest the production value is insanely great. It really is. So it's very strong stuff. Jimmy, again, thank you for doing the show. Really appreciate it. And we'll talk to you. I would like to talk to you again, maybe as in December or something, as the Force Awakens approaches.
Guys, despite the presence of Pepper, I had a great time talking to you guys.
All right. Good night, everybody. Thanks, Jimmy.